Black Panther is one of the most successful comic book films of all time. As of April 1st, 2018, the film has earned over $1.25 billion globally, and at over $650 million, it is the highest grossing comic book film domestically. Beyond the stellar work of Marvel and the creation of a compelling story, which I will get to later, the film is a major milestone when it comes to the portrayal of Africans in both films and comics. Black Panther has done a lot to elevate the status of Africans in these respective genres. Black Panther is the first film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to have a black superhero that is not Iron Patriot or the Falcon. Black Panther is also the first comic book adaptation to have a black lead character that is not Luke Cage, Spawn, Catwoman, Black Lightning, Steel, or Blade. Regarding the genre as a whole, Black Panther is the first comic book adaptation to have a black superhero that is not Kid Flash, Valkyrie, Cyborg, Bishop, Spartan, or Meteor Man. The historic firsts do not end there. Black Panther is also the first comic book film that had crucial scenes take place in Africa that is not Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice.
Take one step, you will see the inside of her head.
The Avengers Age of Ultron, or Captain America Civil War. Words truly cannot describe how historic this film has been for the portrayal of Africans and the continent of Africa in comic book films. When it comes to firsts regarding African Americans, the nearest things in terms of magnitude is when in 2008 Barack Obama was elected as the 44th man of at least 50% European heritage to be the President of the United States. On a side note, on the same night, he was the first man of at least 50% African heritage to be elected President of the United States. History is so exciting when you look at all the details and don't cherry pick things to fit an agenda. Am I right? But I digress. But let's talk about the film itself. The majority of the film takes place in the fictional country of Wakanda.
Wakanda.
Wakanda is an isolated nation that is incredibly advanced because of its massive supplies of vibranium. Vibranium is the most versatile and valuable metal in the Marvel Universe. Because of the vibranium, Wakanda is able to become the most technologically advanced nation in the world. But to protect itself, it remains isolated from the rest of the world and gives off the impression of being a third world nation. Even though it is an incredibly advanced society, the people of Wakanda use primitive farming methods and engage in, dare I say, very stereotypical African cultural practices that are not representative of even a small fraction of modern-day Africans or African cultures. Which, by the way, it makes zero sense for a technologically advanced society and isolated society to do either of these things. But again, I digress. The story is what makes the movie, and boy oh boy, it is a great story. Black Panther is the first Marvel film where the title character, or hero, is actually the villain. But in exchange for the title character being the villain, we are treated to two legitimate heroes. The first of these heroes is Ulysses Klaue. Klaue is the first non-Wakandan to enter the nation and not be killed. Klaue is a modern-day vigilante that wants to share the wonders of vibranium with the world, but T'Challa keeps trying to kill him. While on the subject of T'Challa, he is the Black Panther. Unlike other superpowered individuals who used hard work and intelligence to become super like Iron Man, Ant-Man, or Batman, or were naturally gifted such as Thor, Wonder Woman, or Superman, T'Challa is the antithesis of a role model and gets his powers from a plant like some sort of drug, like marijuana, cocaine, or heroin. T'Challa is also an authoritarian monarch. Much like Kim Jong-un of North Korea, T'Challa is the supreme leader of Wakanda. But moving on, the real hero of the film is Eric Stevens. Eric Stevens is the cousin of T'Challa. Unlike his cousin who grew up with a privileged education and in a safe environment, Stevens grew up in Oakland. The father of Eric Stevens was brutally murdered by the father of T'Challa, T'Chaka. So young Eric was an orphan growing up in Oakland. T'Chaka could have taken Eric with him to Wakanda, but was too worried that a missing young black boy from the projects of Oakland would raise suspicions amongst the barely functional police force of 1990s Oakland. Over the course of the film, we learn that Eric Stevens grows up and joins the United States military. And as is the law as a lifelong recipient of military discounts, Eric Stevens is a good guy. His military career fighting for our freedoms. Killmonger has a second meaning as it also means merchant of death. Emphasis on merchant. So not only is Eric Stevens an American hero as a United States veteran, he is also a businessman. And with small businesses being the backbone of the economy, this guy is a double whammy of an American inspiration. So Killmonger, American hero and backbone of the US economy, eventually gets to Wakanda and challenges T'Challa for the right to rule Wakanda. As the true American hero, Killmonger wins and dethrones T'Challa. Killmonger then uses his new position of power to initiate massive production of high-tech Wakandan weapons for Africans all over the world to rise up and rule over all other races. If it were any other race, this would be a bad thing. But those of you that have been keeping score already know that Africans do not have a winning record in the race war department. So any statistician can confirm that by mathematical law, it is perfectly okay for Killmonger to initiate a pro-African race war. However, all of this planning is for naught. T'Challa, dethroned but not dead, comes back and mercilessly kills his cousin, much the same way how T'Challa's father killed Eric's father. And the long overdue African uprising is put on hold. So when it is all said and done, nothing ended up changing, and T'Challa remains the authoritarian dictator of Wakanda.